Donkey Kong Bananza is a game that represents what came before it while paving a new path forward for what seemed to be a dormant franchise stuck in the past. I mean, every country game's been a re-release, and Mario vs. Donkey Kong has been recycling the same formula. And a Rabbids DLC. But Bonanza was something new, but not Jungle Beat new. And while it provides a lot for newcomers to the series, it seems that a knowledge of what came before only helps with the overall enjoyment this game provides. And of course, the best part of every Donkey Kong game is the members of the simian species we know as the Kongs. Donkey Kong Bananza definitely delivers on Kongs and references to them. So without further ado, Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong is in Donkey Kong Bananza. Next up is a sort of debatable Kong, but it is Prospector Monkeys. The Prospector Monkeys are most likely Kongs, with their great similarity to Diddy Kong in appearance. Perhaps each one has a name, something Kong. So, I will make it my goal to name each one in Bonanza, starting with the beginning area. Itchy Kong, Sweaty Kong, Hummy Kong, Looky Kong, Lazy Kong, Chippy Kong, Grabby Kong, Hungry Kong, Grouchy Kong, not to be confused with Grumpy Kong. Tidy Kong, Plenty Kong, Wimpy Kong, Howie Kong, Giddy Kong, Nosy Kong, Tappy Kong, Wavy Kong, Jumpy Kong, Stormy Kong, Windy Kong, Scaredy Kong, Scrappy Kong, Yappy Kong, Hasty Kong, and Gritty Kong. Well, I'd keep going, but this is supposed to be a quick video. So, Salvager Monkeys. The Salvager Monkeys are visually similar to both Diddy Kong and the Prospector Monkeys, so I think looping them into the Kong name would not be much of a stretch. Additionally, their assumed leader, the Kong Elder, is clearly a Kong, by way of his name. Which brings us to the Kong Elder. The Kong Elder is seemingly the leader of the monkeys in the Lagoon lair. He is a retired salvager, now aspiring DJ. While he does not have an official name, I decided that it would make the most sense to name all 5 elders after their post-game dialogue, making this Harmony Kong. But enough of the new Kongs, let's go to some old favorites returning in Donkey Kong Bananza. Cranky Kong. Cranky Kong is the original Donkey Kong from the arcade games. He can be found on every layer of the game on a journey, shovel in hand, to find the rotten crook behind the banana heists. Diddy Kong. Donkey Kong's little buddy is back. He seems to beat the allegations that he would be missing from this game due to his absence in Mario Kart World. His dialogue seems to mention a lot from DK's previous adventures, reminding DK that he will always be DK's true sidekick. But with teams of 2 on the mind, we can see Diddy Kong's girlfriend, Dixie Kong. She first appeared alongside Diddy when Donkey Kong was kidnapped in what many consider to be the best adventure in the DKC trilogy. Then she even went to star in her own adventure the following year to save Donkey and Diddy. Her dialogue is even more interesting than Diddy's, using retro terms like Mondo and referencing our next Kong, Candy Kong. This is the only time Candy Kong is referenced in Donkey Kong Bananza. And besides the reference in Super Mario Odyssey of Candy's Cafe, it is the last time in universe that we've heard about Candy since the Wii and DS era. But another Kong, equally overlooked, is Tiny Kong. Dixie's sister, Tiny, is mentioned on this sign in New Donk City in Odyssey, advertising Tiny's Piroshkis, and that is really random. But in Donkey Kong Bananza, it does something similar with Tiny Bank. But this is an obvious reference to the popular detail from the German website for Donkey Kong 64 that claims Tiny Kong loves to manage DK Island's finances. But she isn't the only Kong referenced from Donkey Kong 64. Lanky Kong. Lanky Kong is not referenced in Super Mario Odyssey's New Donk, meaning his last reference was when he was a playable character in Donkey Kong Barrel Blast / Jet Race on the Wii. But here we get to see his likeness on a billboard that reads, "No style, no grace, funny face." Any Lanky Kong representation is greatly appreciated, but there's one, even deeper cut. Chunky Kong. He's dead, so he doesn't appear in the game. This is probably not a reference, though it is odd that he's the only playable Kong from Donkey Kong 64 not to be referenced in this game. And I think it's made even more clear when we notice the only other Kong, playable or NPC, to not appear in this game, Wrinkly Kong. Even though she died, she continued to appear as a playable character for the next 3 games. But despite being Cranky's wife, she does not appear in the game at all. Is it because she's dead? And does this mean that Chunky is actually dead? Well, not completely, if the Mario movie counts for anything.
Chunky! Woohoo! Yeah!
Funky Kong. His name rhymes with Chunky, but this time he's actually here. It's been nice seeing all the funky representation we've been getting. This reference specifically, found in New Donk, is referring to Funky's flights from the original Donkey Kong Country, not to be confused with Funky's Flights 2 from Donkey Kong Country 2. Also, Candy Kong gets a sign that references her role in Donkey Kong 64 with her music shop. The record on the Candy music sign has a bow, which is a reference to her original look in the original
The Illusional Guy, yeah.
Swanky Kong. Swanky Kong's spiritual successor comes in the form of Quiztone, a fractone that operates similarly to Swanky in DKC2's Swanky Bonus Bonanza. Set a reference. But this is not about spiritual successors to the Kongs. Swanky is directly referenced when Quiztone asks, "What is our name?" A direct reference to the first question Swanky asks, "What is my name?" But even crazier is that Swanky's name is listed in one of the final answers, which just happens to be Swanky Tone, a combination of Swanky Kong and Fractone. Cranky Kong. Again. Another funny reference is that we can find a fossil of Cranky Kong's original appearance as found in Donkey Kong, the original arcade game. And we have Cranky's records, which is a clear reference to the intro to Donkey Kong Country. But that was all the old and new Helper Kongs, so let's move on to some enemy Kongs. Grumpy Kong. This Kong was the director of manufacturing for Voidco during the majority of Donkey Kong Bananza, as we see him creating various bosses that he uses to fight Donkey Kong and Pauline with. He is very good at the construction of literally anything and can build essentially anything, making him an important part of the Void Kong's operation and a powerful ally to whoever side he happens to find himself on. On the other hand, Poppy Kong. She is Voidco's Director of Intelligence. She is foremost working for herself, and at the beginning of Donkey Kong Bananza, happens to find herself working for Voidco. She uses stealth perfume technology during her boss fight with Donkey Kong and Pauline. Over time, she begins to reconsider her job under her boss, Void Kong. Last, but not least, is the tiny leader of the evil bunch, known as Voidco. That's Void Kong himself. He acts as the president of this self-named company, and ends up being the last remaining employee by the end of the game. Alongside Ghastly King from Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, he appears to be one of the only Kongs who are exclusively ill-intentioned. And those are all the Kongs in Donkey Kong Bananza. At least, until I name every other monkey NPC. That's it for this video. Be sure to check out my main channel for more cool Nintendo content, alongside a secret Donkey Kong project I've been working on. And for way past cool playthroughs of totally Mondo games, be sure to check out the Game Chat, where we'll be playing on the new Super Mario Party Jamboree Nintendo Switch 2 edition airing this Friday.